Okay, number 12, we have a square. And so on a square, all the sides are equal, and there are 4 of them. So to find the simplified expression for the perimeter, we're just going to multiply this times 4. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. And the variable and the exponent stays the same. And 4 times 6 is 24. You cannot add them because they are not like terms, because before you add them, you have to multiply it times whatever m is. We don't know what m is. Number 13. You have a triangle, and anytime these confuse you, you go back to something that you know. So 2 plus, let's say this is 3, and your perimeter was 8. Well, if you had 2 and 3, and your perimeter was 8, you would add these two together and subtract to get a perimeter, get it, that other side as 3. So this unknown side would be 3. So you're going to do the same thing. So we're going to add these two together, and I'm going to subtract it from the perimeter. So 19h plus 12, 7h plus 2h is 9h, 7 plus 14 is 21, and since both are positive, I'm going to subtract both. I'm going to change them both to negative. If they were negative, I would change them to a positive. So 19 minus 9 is 10h, and 12 minus 21, when the signs are opposite, you take the sign of the larger number. So 8 plus 1 more gives you 9. And that is the simplified expression for that third side. Number 14, a rectangle has side length. So we have length, side length, and width, and find the perimeter. So on number 11, we have the perimeter formula. So perimeter is twice the length plus twice the width, or you draw your rectangle out. If you've got 2 lengths and 2 widths, so we're going to multiply these times 2 and then add them together. So 2 times n is 2n. 2 times 6 is 12. And notice these are not all like terms. So 2 times negative 4 is negative 8n squared. So I'm going to put that on the left because it's not an n. And 2 times 10 is 20. And then we're going to add that together. So negative 8n squared has no friends, so it's going to be by itself. 20n plus 2n is 22n, and then 12 again has nothing to combine with. So we've got 3 different types of terms, so we're going to have 3 terms in our answer when one isn't omitted. Number 15, solving for y. So when you solve for y, when you get rid of this other term, so the opposite of adding is subtracting. And then, and since there's nothing to subtract to, because again, it is not like terms and x is not the same as a constant, then I'm just going to move it over. So when you move it to the other side, you have to change signs. So once I move it, it is gone. And then I'm going to divide everything by 6. And so y equals, and just to get us ready for y equals mx plus b, I'm going to go ahead and put my term with x first. So negative 10/6 reduces to negative 5/3. And you can put that in alpha x and let the calculator reduce for you. And then negative 3/6 is negative 1/2. And for those of you who get 2 on that one, please put it in the calculator. Number 16 is also solving for y. And these are our literal equations. Super easy on this one. Only thing's happening to y is being multiplied by 7, so we're just going to divide everything by 7. And since 7 is not divisible by 6 or 3, I'm just going to put a big line and a 7 on the bottom because I don't have to reduce. So, y equals all of that. You're done. You do have to put the entire equation for your answer. 17. Let's see. We have a equals v squared over r. That's velocity over, I think that's rate, and that's acceleration if I remember correctly from science. So we're solving for v, so we've got to get rid of the r. So r is dividing, so the opposite of dividing is multiplying. And so ra equals v squared. And so the opposite of squaring something is square root. If you forget what the opposite is, it's above squaring. So v equals the square root of ra or ar, doesn't matter. 18 is your Pythagorean theorem. So we are solving for b because it's multiple choice. So if a squared is positive over here, it is going to be negative over here. And once I move it, it is gone. It's no longer over here. And then again, the opposite of squaring something is square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So then b is going to equal square root of c squared minus a squared. So that is b. And of course the c, if you remember, c is always your longest side. It's across from the right angle. So it has to be the one subtracted from. 19, formula for area. Area equals pi r squared. All these are just numbers. Area is a number, pi is a number, r squared is a number. Pi is a very large number, large decimal. Continues for not be infinite. Continues for a long time. And we are solving for r. So same thing. We are going to, so multiplying times pi is dividing. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So, and then for a third time in a row, the opposite of squaring something is square root. So there's probably a good chance you're going to see one that has a square root. So r equals the square root of a over pi. And that symbol is underneath in your list of where your x squared is. Okay, number 20, solve for y again. So again, this negative 9, there's not another constant over here, just an x. So since there's nothing to combine with, I'm just going to move it. So opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. And then we're going to divide, so that's gone. And we're going to divide everything by 10. And since nothing is divisible, I'm just going to put a big 10 on the bottom. If you needed to reduce, you have to reduce. So if that was an 8, you would have to reduce and have 10 on both of them. If it was a negative 10, you would have to reduce. You can't leave a negative on the bottom. Even though multiple choice, still leave it. So y equals negative x plus 9 over 10. And if you wrote it as negative x over 10 plus 9 over 10, that would also be correct. It doesn't matter.